Hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to the round table of trifling ass women. I'm your current host, Mary J. Watson, aka MJ, aka the finest redhead to exist, aka damn, we get it. Can we commence the meeting? You see, this is why nobody likes you on your show, including your husband. At least I got a husband, not cheating my man every chance I get.
You bitch! Damn!
Oh, I know Miss Busted Open for Magneto and indecisive two-time and musty-ass stare out the window Bella ain't talking. Damn, sugar, she went after you harder than me. She's just salty that almost every version of her is trash. We are inaugurating a new member to the round table of trifling as women. Unfortunately, Felicity and Elena couldn't make it. Something about Vervain and Oliver dying again. And our other member is currently serving a life sentence for her crimes. Let's give a round of applause to our newest member, Dupli-Hed.
Bombastic side-eye. Criminal offensive side-eye.
Damn, so all the old hoes ain't gonna clap for me? Isn't immortal clapping your cheeks? Oh, we wanna talk about clapping cheeks. We wanna talk about clapping cheeks, says the woman who slept with a geriatric patient only to reject him and her real man dying minutes later. Says the woman who fell apart for a 100-year-old vampire and collected funk, staring out a window like a catatonic zombie. Says the woman who overreacted to Mark being invincible and missed,
"You are not the Flash, Barry. We are."
If it wasn't for the plot, your ass would have been dead after season 3. What a productive member of the round table. This isn't even a round table, it's a courtroom. You know, you got a mouth on you and you're right. This is a courtroom. This is the budget we can afford. And since you like to talk, we're putting you on trial.
What?
In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Welcome back to the world of a universe that somehow manages to produce a new hated character every season. We got the big back bumble of Father Adam, who wanted his daughter to forgive a guy who cheated on her. Amber, who crashed out that her boyfriend is invincible even though she knew. The fraud that is immortal who loses every fight he's in. But somehow, despite all that competition, none of them have managed to absorb the sheer level of fan hatred directed at one person.
Who's there?
Dupli-Hed. She has collected quite the list of nicknames from the fandom over the years. Some call her Dupli-Hoe, others go with Dupli-Fraud, and then there's my personal favorite, Dupli-Bob, cause that haircut ain't doing her any favors. And don't get it twisted, I loves me a bob. I love a bob. I'm a bobaholic. Shake that bob. She starts as a side supporting character who gets a little bit of screen time to become the most hated female character, giving Amber a run for her money. The dislike for her character is so intense that when it was announced that she would be getting a skin in Fortnite, the reaction from fans was immediate and explosive. Players across social media were asking the same question. Out of every character in Invincible, why her? I would rather play Mama Grayson before Dupli-Bob. Many fans felt that other characters deserved the spotlight first, like our glorious King Rex. Rest in peace, big dog. They could have used Kitty or even Conquest. The backlash got so loud that within a day of the announcement, Dupli-Bob's skin went from something you have to pay for to free. Think about that for a second. A major game pivoted on a skin because the character attached to it was that unpopular. What killed me was that Fortnite had the most useless duo. Even in the new Invincible game, she's still getting dragged.
So pathetic. I know, right?
Everything, everywhere, all at once, asshole.
Before I unapologetically tear it to pieces, we should probably talk about Duplicate's past, because as much as I clown on Dupli-Bob, her backstory is actually pretty rough. Kate and her twin brother Paul were born with the ability to duplicate themselves. They literally came out the womb with the power to multiply. Their mama died giving birth to them, leaving their father to raise the twins alone. And at first, it was just 2 kids, manageable. But once their powers started kicking in, things got complicated, because suddenly it wasn't 2 kids anymore. It was 10, then 20, then however many copies decided to pop up that day. Imagine thinking you're raising twins and waking up one morning to discover you're responsible for entire daycare. Unsurprisingly, their father eventually had a mental breakdown, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, trying to manage it all. After he was taken away, Kate and Paul were placed into government custody, and if you've seen enough superhero stories, you already know what that means. Training, experiments, combat drills. Instead of being treated like kids, they were basically molded into human weapons, harsh conditions, constant pressure, and the expectation that their powers would eventually serve the state, which, to be fair, is pretty on brand for how governments treat superpowered people in these stories. They should count their lucky stars that they were born in the Invincible universe. Can you imagine they fell into the hands of Amanda Waller? Girl, I pray for anyone who gets the attention of Amanda Waller. Paul eventually had enough of it. Realizing they were being used, he escaped the facility and struck out on his own. He later became an assassin and joined a group known as the Order. Kate, however, didn't go with them. Whether it was loyalty, fear, or just a different sense of purpose, she stayed. By the time she was a teenager, Kate stepped into the superhero world under the name Duplicate and eventually joined a young hero team known as Teen Team. Teen Team. You know, because the name Teen Titans was definitely already taken. And now that we're caught up on Dupli-Bob's tragic past, let's dive into why almost everyone in the Invincible fandom hates Kate. When there's a race of alien annihilating colonizers, Nolan, who beat the living shit out of his son and reconstructed his face, and Jimmy Neutron's big brain cousin, who's a multiverse jumping Invincible hater. The beginning of the end for Dupli-Hoe was her cheating scandal with Rex. Now, objectively speaking, this isn't the worst thing anyone's done in this universe, but morally, still a shitty thing to do overall. So Big Red pulls up at HQ and sees Bob exiting the shower. Dupli-Bob gets flustered as she's currently getting mind control. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Mind control in the shower. Big Red takes a look inside the shower and sees not y'all bumping uglies at work. In Bob's defense, Rex lied to her that Eve was now dating Invincible and that he and Eve were officially done. But I gotta throw out the defense, because even if Rex and Eve did break up, they only been separated for what? A couple of hours? A day at most? You're telling me you're that quick to hop on Rex's piece? Even if Bob and Big Red aren't friends, they're still co-workers on the same team. If I learned that my homegirl just broke up with her bae, my first instinct would be to see if he could explode inside of me. There's an unspoken rule in basically every social circle. You don't get together with your friend's ex after they immediately break up. You don't get together with your friend's ex at all. Cause now, it looks like y'all had something going on the entire time when that wasn't the case. Skipping ahead, a month has passed since Omni-Man did reconstruction surgery on Mark's face. The world is still recovering from that chaos, the hero community is rebuilding, and leadership of the new Guardians of the Globe has been handed over to none other than, oh god, Immortal. Now, at first glance, that decision kind of makes sense. Back in the early days of the show, it looked like Immortal was being set up as one of the heavy hitters. The guy has centuries of combat experience, he's fought some of the strongest enemies around, and on paper, he should be able to hold his own with the best of them. But as the series goes on, I don't know. That reputation starts to look a little shaky. Anyway, after one of the Guardians training sessions, Dupli-Hoe is tired and sweaty and heads off to the showers at HQ. A little while later, Rex also heads towards the showers, and when he hears Kate inside, in a bit of poetic irony, he discovers their relationship the same way Big Red discovered his own scandal earlier, by accidentally walking in on them grinding coochies. A lot of people have a problem with Dupli-Bob and the Fraud having sex. They're both consenting adults? Question mark? Like, genuine question, how old is Kate? I tried searching for her age, but all I got is that she's between the ages of 18 through 20. If Bob wants to get her shit rocked by a 1,000-year-old dusty dinosaur, by all means, that's her prerogative. This wouldn't be the first time in history we witness a teenager be down bad for someone 10 times their age. It's just, why are y'all having relations at work? Even if you're off the clock, do that in the comfort of your own home. I got a shower now too. Now I'm stepping over your juices and whatever other fluids coming out of you. Rex feels betrayed since Bob cheated on him even though they were never officially together. It's the way Kate is so run through, which is unfair of me to say since she's only been with, what, 2 other men? I can think of 2 popular fictional characters that get passed around more than Bob. Spider-Man and Nightwing. Lord knows these 2 are running a train and slept with half of the women in their universes. And I believe that's the real reason why Dupli-Kate gets so much hate from the fandom. It comes down to something pretty simple. People know someone like her in real life. She isn't a world-ending villain. She isn't an alien conqueror. She's something a lot more familiar and for many viewers, a lot more irritating. Kate comes across as cold, detached, and focused primarily on her own needs. When conflicts happen, she rarely shows much sympathy for how other people feel. Instead, she tends to move forward as if nothing happened, which can make her seem dismissive or emotionally distant. Similar to Big Bag Adam, we have witnessed or are familiar with a verbally abusive father. Because while most of us will never meet a powerful race that could put belt to ass on any one of us, almost everyone has dealt with someone who seems completely unconcerned with the fallout of their own actions. That familiarity makes the frustration feel personal, which brings us to season 2 of Invincible in the moment that shocked a lot of viewers. Bob's death. Kate, bless her heart, for some reason thought it was a good idea to attack Komodo Dragon, the guy who is solid muscle and eats hit after hit after hit from Immortal. Now, while I do make jokes about the fraud, he is a solid heavy hitter. If Dragon can take hits against someone like Immortal, what the hell was Bob gonna do? She's getting her shit wrecked. She spams in her clone, one hops in the air only to get snatched by the neck and slammed to the ground, punches another clone for the skull, tearing a limb off. It was a bloody massacre. She makes 3 more clones. I don't know why she didn't make 10 like she did earlier back in the elevator. Bob, now locking in, starts the ultimate ancient art of jumping.
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
While hyping her up, I slowly realized she was doing little to zero damage on Dragon. He lost nothing in his health bar. Her punches most likely feel like a butterfly grazing him. And this is the part of the episode that got everybody in the Invincible community heated. After Dragon easily packed up her clones, Bob, instead of making more, creeps away in disbelief. Mind you, girl had enough time to make more clones while slinking away, but nah, she allows herself to get grabbed. Glorious King Rex sees her in danger and tries to help, but Bob manages to kick Dragon, only for him to brush aside that weak-ass kick and smashing the original Kate with her clone, effectively killing her. Fatality. Komodo Dragon wins. With Rex and Ray barely surviving. Next, we're at the funeral for Bob.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
I would say this is a tragedy, but cut forward to the end of season 2 and it's revealed that Dupli-Fraud had always kept an OG copy hidden away in a remote location and sworn to herself if her copies died on the job, she'll hang up her costume forever and dip to live an ordinary life. She couldn't because all she thought about was her geriatric dinosaur and not wanting him to think she was dead and that he failed her. What bothers me is that she only told him and only him. It's not like she had a group of people who valued her and saw her as a friend or are mourning her death, believing their lack of action or what they could have done differently during the mission could have prevented said death. Like, I understand Immortal is her senior citizen guilt, but it irks me that she chose to only inform the fraud, a guy she's only been messing around with for like, what, 2-3 episodes max, and not her friends on Teen Team that she's known for years. If I was Cecil, I would have told her, nah, you better pay back that funeral money. Do you not know how much funerals cost? Hell, she didn't even tell her brother Paul, who was going into town on Rex, who he's blaming her death on. She pulls up with her dinosaur to scold her brother, talking about you of all people should know. We are hard to kill. Bitch, you received a Mortal Kombat fatality and a whole ass funeral. Of course it was believable to others. Rex is rightfully pissed the hell off. Had this precious man thinking you were dead that it was his fault and he should have done more. Her reckless action of not informing her brother, hey dumbass, I'm still alive, but I'm keeping it on the hush hush, almost got Rex bodied. It was a shitty move having your friends believe you're dead while you're happily chilling up in the mountains while getting dicked down by grandpa.
Why didn't you... You let me and Ray think you were dead?
You think I care? Look at me. Do I look like I care? Look, just take it. Do I look like I care? Look at me. Look, no, Sharice, look at me. Do I look like I care? Look.
Dupli-Hoe, why are you looking over the side for? What's so interesting over there? Girl doesn't even have the nerve to stare Rex in the eye because she knows she's in the wrong. The frog comes to her defense saying,
It was her decision. She wanted to disappear for a while.
I don't give a fuck.
We're later back in HQ with Mark having a friendly dispute with Cecil.
We're done.
Samson tells him to get to cleaning while Ray, looking at the blood, has PTSD for a near-death experience with the Lizard League. This leads to an argument about Mark and Cecil. A lot of back and forth happens until Bob opens her mouth and says 16 words that hammers the final nail in her coffin.
I died for this. I went through just as much as you and Rex.
You lie! You lie!
More even.
A liar, a cheater, a deceiver, heartbreaker.
Catherine Dupli-Cha, you had your OG hiding out in the cut perfectly safe. You were never in actual danger. Dupli-Hoe has the nerve to feel offended after scolding people who are rightfully calling her out on her hypocritical bullshit. Every single person in that room has come close to death and was prepared to embrace it. She has no room to say she's been through more when Rex lost a hand, took a bullet to the skull, and 1v3 the remaining Lizard League, while Ray had her bones crushed while inside Dragon, and spent 3 months in the ICU to put herself back together. And despite that traumatizing experience, Rex and Ray get up every day, put one foot in front of the other, and they try the best they can. Bob really tried to lecture people, but I'll give her a little leeway. When Bob says she died for this, every clone she creates isn't just a disposable copy, it's a fully conscious extension of herself. Her mind exists in all of them simultaneously. She experiences everything they experience, moment by moment, as if she was living multiple lives at once. Kate's consciousness has effectively lived through hundreds of lifetimes worth of experiences. Kate's demeanor begins to feel less like indifference and more like the exhaustion of someone who has already lived far more than most people ever will. Throughout the series, Kate's clones are frequently destroyed in brutal ways, torn apart in combat, crushed, blown up, decapitated, or otherwise eliminated. For most viewers, those deaths initially register as a tactical loss, nothing more than the destruction of expendable copies. Kate feels every single death. Each one is another version of herself dying, sometimes violently, sometimes painfully, and all those moments remain in her memory, a telepathic link experiencing everything with no way to stop it. I'm surprised and honestly impressed she hasn't had a mental crash out yet. For Bob, it's basically Groundhog Day stuck in an infinite loop of dying. The series has long explored the psychological strain of extended lifespans through characters like Omni-Man and the Immortal, showing how living for centuries can distort a person's worldview and emotional stability. Kate represents a different version of that idea. Someone who hasn't just lived for a long time but has died countless times as well. Again and again, Kate sends her duplicates into danger, fully aware of the suffering those moments will bring her. Heroism in her case means willingly enduring repeated death in order to keep others alive. Through Mark's story, the show explores how devastating it could be to sacrifice oneself for the greater good. While Mark risks his life in battle, Kate knowingly experiences thousands of deaths in pursuit of the same goal. And let's be honest, if any of us had the power of duplication, you telling me you wouldn't tuck away the original and have your copies fight for you? If any of you said no, you're a real one, I guess I'm just a puss. However, as much as I can sympathize with her pain of experiencing and feeling her clone's deaths, I can't let the rest of what she does slide. Her personality is utter garbage. Instead of showing understanding for her teammates, she frequently acts as though their struggles are trivial compared to her own. The result is a person that is indifferent, impatient, and at times openly condescending. And it's like, damn Bob, we get it. You've been through some shit, but that doesn't excuse your actions or your shit attitude. Especially when you and your grandpa stay losing every fight you're in.
Well, just as I thought, trash.
Word on the street is the moment Immortal got together with Dupli-Fraud, his losing streak went up 100%, which is the next complaint fans have with Dupli-Kate. She stays taking a constant L. It feels even more disrespectful when she has the most busted OP superpower in fiction when used correctly. I could name 10 people in different shows, movies, and games who use their cloning ability 100 times better than Dupli-Fraud. We got the GOAT, Naruto. He summoned 1,000 clones when Naruto got bodied, tore that ass up. Next, we got Twice from My Hero, Sad Man's Parade, who created clones of himself. Then those clones created clones of themselves. Then those clones create clones of themselves. And with the help of Himiko, they were clapping the heroes. Go Echo from Ben 10. These little guys know how to jump and overwhelm someone properly. Reverse Flash, the pettiest hater alive, uses his super speed to make after-image copies of himself to attack. Majin Buu, legendary. Vlad from Danny Phantom makes it look like it's child's play. Billy Numerous from Teen Titans. Jack as a baby has better use of his cloning ability. Her beast of a brother Multi-Paul jumped Rex and Mark and easily escaped prison with no issues. Even bloody Harry from The Wolf Among Us is better than Dupli-Bob. These are S-tier characters that appropriately use their duplication abilities.
He's garbage when it matters! He's garbage!
Speaking of her beast of a brother, the introduction of Paul only further showed fans that Bob either doesn't know how to fight with her clones or is just straight buns. Like I mentioned much earlier, Kate is a supporting hero. Her powers are incredibly useful in a tactical sense. She can overwhelm opponents, control crowds, and support teammates by creating multiple fighters at once. She's not meant to be the powerhouse of the group. She's the kind of hero who makes everyone else more effective. But when Paul shows up, the contrast in fighting styles becomes impossible to ignore. Paul is far more aggressive and brutal with his abilities. His clones rush enemies, overwhelm them, and throw themselves into danger without hesitation. It shows how the two siblings view their powers. For Paul, his duplicates are simply tools. They're expendable extensions of his ability, a means to accomplish a goal. If one of them is destroyed, it doesn't seem to bother him in the slightest. Just like his sister, he feels his clone's pain. Bob, on the other hand, sees her duplicates very differently. To her, these copies aren't disposable weapons, they're herself. When one of them is injured or destroyed, she feels it personally. We see that perspective early on in the show when Bob becomes visibly offended after Rex dismisses her duplicates as,
They're not even the real Kate! We're all the real Kate.
to him, they're just copies. To her, they're still part of who she is. When he appears later in the story, he shows almost no concern for the fate of his duplicates. At one point, he even abandons one of them to be captured and imprisoned, seemingly willing to let that copy serve a lifetime behind bars while he escapes. It's a moment that perfectly illustrates the divide between the siblings. At the end of the day, it's all about pain tolerance. How much pain can you take?
The pain. Make it stop.
Except I wasn't dead, you idiot. And I saved the country from getting nuked.
Flashback.
Not telling me you was both telling.
You got knocked the fuck out, bitch!
End of flashback.
I feel like if she worded it differently, I believe people wouldn't have reacted so negatively. She made it sound like she single-handedly stopped the nuke herself when it was the GOAT Rex who soloed the Lizard League, so I don't know why she's trying to take credit for something she didn't do. For the rest of season 3, we see Bob getting easily folded with her usual strategy of making only 4 clones trying to run up on the biggest threat in the room only to get clapped. She doesn't really do much other than amplify the show's already brutal gore factor. Then comes the chaos of the Invincible War. When multiple variants of Mark Grayson begin putting belt to ass on the planet, nearly every hero gets overwhelmed. In fairness to Bob, this is one of those situations where everyone was getting jumped. Even the heavy hitters were struggling to keep up. So while Bob isn't particularly effective during the conflict, it's hard to argue that she would have made a massive difference anyway. After the Invincible War, Mid-Mortal was decapitated, which seems like an ongoing theme for him. He unfortunately survived his injuries and proposed to Dupli-Hoe, and now both are retiring. Should I care? Outside of getting clapped in every fight, their presence rarely shifted the outcome of major battles.
No, I'm done. I've given this world enough.
Be nice. I'm finding it. It take you that long to find it? It does.
Given what exactly? A legacy of L's? Both have a happily ever after romance when we all know it should have been Ray and Rex. I better not see them in season 4. At the end of the day, Dupli-Kate takes the lead as the most hated female character as of right now, but knowing Invincible, another one will pop up eventually. I realized I was dragging and defending Bob at the same time. I hope I did a halfway decent job. Well, Kate, I wish you nothing but the best with your geriatric guilt future hubby, and please, for everything that is precious in the world, stay retired. Do not come back in the hero gig. Order in the court. Seeing this overwhelming evidence against you, how shall we proceed?
Electric chair.
I put it next door to Wonder Bread. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the notification bell to never miss an update. And y'all, we're only 1 week away before season 4 of Invincible arrives. Did you see that Thrag trailer? He makes Conquest look like a wet paper bag. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!